Welcome to the Highest Self podcast. It's so great to have you, ladies.
Good to be
Happy
here.
to be here.
So happy to be here.
So, we're doing right now a three-way interview, technically four-way. I'm the interviewer. I got three ladies on here. All three of them were my students on the Doshas and Dharma program this October, and now they are all going to be coaches on the upcoming Doshas and Dharma program this May, which is super, super exciting. So, I wanted to interview them about their experience, what they're up to, and allow them to share their wisdom and messages with us. So, welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, the first question that I'd love to ask you guys is what makes you your highest self? And we can start with Lizette.
Okay. So for me, being my highest self is definitely staying true to myself and just being true to like my raw, authentic, like organic, real self. And just really these past couple of months, even just living out like my Dharma, that just really connects you instantly, I feel, to your highest self for sure.
I love it. Beautiful. Allison?
Oh, yes. So what makes me my highest self is when I'm able to witness and remember that we are all fractals of God experiencing this life in all of the different many forms, and that I am the only one that has control of myself, and to allow myself to also witness my life unfolding before me.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And Danielle?
Yeah, for me, I think it'd be saying yes to more things that light my soul on fire. And for that, it seems to be recently a lot of internal reflection and actually a good amount of external, helping others kind of transform themselves and their businesses and kind of to just see the shift for them.
That is beautiful, ladies. I'm so happy to hear all of your answers. So, I'd love to know what were your experiences on the Doshas and Dharma program? And Lizette, we can start with you again.
Sounds good. So for sure, my experience with the Doshas and Dharmas program, in one word, I would say transformational, total transformational, total like a rebirth and like a realignment with myself and just really like getting in the core of my being. And it's just like so transformational.
Yay.
Awesome. For me, I would say it was deep, illuminating, and I really had to put in the work. I had to answer those I've been avoiding you questions that I needed to really dig deep. And I was able to have that space that you created for me to be able to uncover myself and remove obstacles that like shouldn't have been there, and being able to be more authentic with myself.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and I think for myself at least, I mean, everything is so true from what they both said, but I think a really great point too was the community. And I think that the women on the calls or just in the Facebook group in general, the place of holding space for each other was so beautiful to see. I mean, it was a very tight knit group of women, but it always felt inclusive and just a beautiful flow.
Beautiful. I love that.
Totally.
I'd love to know more about what were your fears before joining the program and if you've ever done any type of group coaching, especially online before this.
So for fears, I had the fear that I wasn't going to get the answers that I wanted, or that it wasn't that I was going to come out of it still the same and nothing changing. So that was really like a really big fear of mine, was staying like stagnant in the area that I was in, because I really wanted to push through out of that.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's a fear a lot of us have when we begin a program. Like, is this even going to work?
Yeah.
For me, I was in between jobs. So financially, I was like, oh my gosh. But at the same time, I was like, if I don't do this, I'm not going to be able to live with myself, and my spirits guides are going to be like, what's wrong with you? You've only been praying and meditating on it. You know what I mean? So to me, it was the best decision that I had made. And the community, again, that you've created for us and us being together is invaluable, truly.
I'm so glad. Danielle?
And I think for me, well, it was interesting. Actually, I remember the exact day when I joined because I was visiting a friend in Monterey for a weekend and I had my laptop with me doing work. And I remember getting selected, the email, and just same thing happened. The fear came up of what if this won't work? What if this won't happen? And I realized if this program were to go through and I wasn't a part of it, I would regret that. And I think that's something that's huge for a lot of people right now is if you feel like if you miss out on this and you'll regret it, that's a good sign for yourself that you need to go through with it.
Definitely. And I think a lot of times with like online programs, especially when they're always running, you're like, oh, I'll just join next month. I'll join later. And that's what I love about this program. It's only once a year. So it's like the ship is sailing. Do you want to get on? Because we're taking off. Bye.
Mm-hmm.
So love that. So I'd love to know, how was it similar and or different from what you were expecting? Lizette, we can start with you.
So, okay, I didn't really have expectations, to be honest. I just went in with it with like I have no idea what I'm getting myself into, but everything in my soul and my heart is like guiding me that way. So I just knew that I had to flow and I had to go that direction. Um, but as far as expectations, I really had none. So that was
That's good. You just were like, I'll see what happens.
yeah.
For
Allison.
me, I also didn't have expectations. I've never taken any online classes, but and I've also had a very difficult time for me in school and learning certain things just because the structure is not how I learn, but how you set everything up where you had your videos and you had all of your documentation and you're able to watch the video, read the information the same exact time. It was I was so pleasantly surprised. I was like, this is amazing. I have like all of the aspects of myself that I need to learn so that I can like unfold myself and, move forward. So it was amazing. I thought it was great.
Cool.
I think for me, what was different in the best way possible was that there was a sense of holistic parts in there. It wasn't just, even though it's called the Joshes and Dharmas, you really help connect different parts of yourself. So I think what's beautiful for others too is a lot of programs can be looking at just one facet of yourself, but this really helps take into each part and really help you see the true essence of what you're looking for.
I'm so glad. So I'd love to know what shifted for you in the program. And we can now start with you, Danielle, and now move
Oh,
backward. So what shifted for you?
well, it's great that we're actually on this week because I'm currently redesigning my website. And when we were in the program, I mean, on the first call, I think it was, you told me, like, you are a coach, hands down, it's done. And you were definitely not the first to tell me, but you're finally the one where I was like, you know what, that's it. That's a sign that I have to go through with it more. And these last couple months have been really digging deep for me to see what I do like and what I don't like, whether it's through the websites that I create for people or the coaching that I do for others and the podcast, everything. It's really been transformational because each part of what I do, each service and each step that I move forward, it's all about helping people transform. And I think before this program, I would have never even thought that one, I could be an actual coach and be good at it. And two, is that I'd have this beautiful support of women behind me. I mean, even if we go into the Facebook group today, there'll be people who are commenting still.
Totally. I mean, since the program in October, now you are a coach, you have your graphic design business. I've hired you for help. You're I'm like, Danielle, how do you do these things? So it's amazing to see how much has shifted for you.
Thank you.
Allison,
So,
what's shifted for you?
so I was starting to become physically ill, like just before the program started, and I was able to see Dr. Suhas and doing your program all at the same time, and I came to this conclusion that I had been living and working this life in all the wrong ways. I was doing everything opposite of what my natural God-given gifts were. And I was struggling to just like I can like this, and then just feeling this like emptiness inside, and I wasn't being true to myself. But since going through the program and knowing that, you know, I have my path and it's always been there. I was just mucking it up with, other ideas or outside ideas from other people, of how I think I should be. And I just was able to finally align myself and my Dharma and living that every single day. And because it wears on your mind, it really does. And then it just manifests inside of your body. And that's exactly what happened to me. So a huge night and day shift. Absolutely.
And you had health problems then, and now what are you studying?
Now, I mean, my health problems are like, I feel so amazing. I have life. I'm helping people around me with their coaching. I'm starting to like gather together my own sound baths to do with other people so that I can also share my voice and using voice alchemy and really being able to kind of crack the codes for people just by me singing, and then for them, they're able to unfold, and wherever my voice takes them, that's their journey.
That's beautiful. So you're doing now both. You're in IIN, and
Yes.
you're doing also voice alchemy and sound healing. So you're like
Yes.
helping them like literally through coaching and then on a vibrational level.
Absolutely. It's totally different from working at, a desk job for pretty much all of my life, just dying sitting there.
I love it. Love it. And Lizette, what has shifted for you?
Honestly, everything has shifted for me. I feel like this really was like the shakeup that I needed in my life, but what really shifted was my relationship with myself. And I think when I went into it, I couldn't even answer some of the questions. Like, I had such a hard time vocalizing, like, what even were my gifts, even were my passions, because I always had the passion of helping people. Like, that's what I love to do. And mental health has always been something I'm really passionate about. But I didn't even realize that I wasn't even giving myself the help that I needed. And I was giving it away so much that I like lost myself and like my connection with myself. And this getting that connection again with myself, my highest self, and it has been the most liberating, most amazing, most like life-changing, transformational experience I've ever had. Like, it's the amount of change that has happened since like October to now. It feels like 6 months. Just wow, like so much has happened. Like, I'm still like putting everything together, but it's just honestly finding myself, finding my gifts, having the courage to be like, you know what, you could do this. And I would always tell that to people, but to have it tell to myself, I think that's where it really changed. So,
Totally. And you're such a kapha, and you teach the kids with autism,
yeah.
right? And
Mhm.
so that takes so much out of you. And then it's like, how can you fill up your own cup? So I'm so glad
Yeah.
that you were able to learn that and to grow so much from the program.
So much growth.
So that's the next question I want to ask you guys. So, from being a student in October, and now you guys are going to be the coaches of this program in May, what's the biggest difference you notice about yourself? So, we can start with Danielle again.
I think the biggest difference that I've noticed is kind of a similar way to how I look at myself, but also how I look at the relationships that I've been in. Because I think what's the great part about when you do inner work, it's almost without a shadow of a doubt that you'll start to review who's around you as well. And I think these last couple months have been really telling for me to see what way I feel pulled towards, what I want to experience more of. And what shifted is really allowing myself to do that and allowing myself to say, yeah, this feels great. I want to do this.
Beautiful. So necessary. The boundaries are like essential for spiritual growth.
Yes.
So for me, I think the biggest change is not being an imposter for the sake of fear, friends, family, and not dimming my light anymore. And I think that that was a really big deal. I was living in a world that I didn't understand, because to me things were like everything's beautiful, everything's love, and we're like all together in this. And I realized that I was living in the world that didn't serve me, but that my purpose, why I am here, is to show others the new world, the new dream of love and compassion and forgiveness, and ultimately self realization. And I have always been that person. But because I had spent so much time trying to like fit myself in this box, I completely lost sight of it, and my whole self knew it. I mean, shamanism, voice alchemy, coaching, those have always been my path, just naturally. And being able to be confident and saying that is so amazing, and believing it and not feeling like you're the cuckoo bird. It's like, I'm not the cuckoo bird. I'm this is my path, and I'm here to help other people find themselves.
And it's funny you use the word cuckoo bird, because I was just talking to Shaman Dirk the other day, and he was saying how everyone used to call him the cuckoo bird because he was into like shamanism, coaching, the same thing. And then he didn't want to be, and now he's like cuckoo bird is like his spirit animal. He's like, I love being the cuckoo bird.
It's true.
Totally. So Lizette, what about you? What's the biggest thing you noticed a difference in yourself?
So the biggest thing that I've noticed within myself is believing in myself, and also I could relate a lot to what Allison said, about like dimming your own light and like just not really embracing like what makes you you and your gifts and all of that, and just kind of wanting to just, conform or not. So for me, it's been really taking back my power and taking back all my power. And so I could fill my cup all the way up, and I could just help others do the same, because I think we're all so powerful, and so many times we don't even realize that like we've given our power away. We've given our gifts away. We've just, and that's what it was for me. Now for me it's like reconnecting and getting all my power back, and just really feeling empowered and saying like I'm a writer, like I love to help people. I'm a life coach, like I'm a dancer, and it's like saying all these things. And you know I love entrepreneurship, and I'm like building all these businesses, like, and it's flowing and it's coming, and I'm just like, it's so amazing. And I think that's just the most amazing thing. And I just want to help everyone feel this like high self, like it's really really real, and you could really really do it.
Wow, that makes me so just excited for you and excited to hear, because like I totally remember talking to you when you came to my book launch in September, when I
Yes.
met you for the first time, and you were like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what to do. Like I just like want to intern for you. And then that's how we met, and you did the program, and just how much has shifted for you really in 6 months. And you're doing this t-shirt business and all of these different things. So like
Yeah.
the Shakti is full
I
force right now.
know, it's so crazy. I think about when I first met you at the book launch all the time, and I'm just like, seriously, like your podcast, this podcast is, I would listen to it all the time. Like this was the first podcast I actually could say like I listened to, and I was like, it spoke to my soul. So to just even be on your podcast, like that just blows my mind.
And it all happened because you came to my book launch and talked to me. And now, look, you're here and you're going to be a coach on my program. You guys are the 3 first ever coaches, when soon will be live events and lots of other stuff. But I'm so excited to share this with you and I think it's so important for other people to see that, like, they can be where you guys are in just 6 months. And you're no different from them. We're all the same. We're all on this growth path. But when you get the guidance you need, your growth is just accelerated. So
Totally.
I'd love to know, what advice do you guys have for those who are hesitant about joining this program or any program?
I think you really have to see what the value is for you. Because I think what happens a lot of the time is that, I mean, it's probably not just me, it's a lot of people. We have shiny object syndrome where we see like this course and that course and all of these things, and there are just so many things. But the thing is, if there's a nudging, like if I still come back to this, if there's that nudging or thought behind you, for me at least, if like the course, it didn't leave my mind, I would say, oh, I'm not sure if I want to go into it. 2 days later, an email would pop up, or it would still be in my tab, which for me, it was always me trying to go back to certain things. And I knew that unless you want to stay where you're at, you have to invest in yourself. Whether it's monetarily, energetically, financially, whatever, you have to invest in yourself. And whether that's a course, a book, whatever it is, it's really the true essence of why you take courses and why you do programs. So for those who are not sure or feel blocked or uncertain about this program, the best thing you can ask yourself is, will you invest in yourself? Because if you can do that, then you will see the changes.
For sure. And that's something that I admire about you, Danielle. You're investing in yourself so much. You do different programs and you get coaches and you do like all of the things because you're like, okay, if I want to be a coach, I need to hire a coach. If I want to lead programs, I need to be on programs. I feel like so many of us, we want to do these things, but we've never been the student. And it's like, how
Mhm.
are you going to know how to lead a program or be a coach if you've never hired them or done them? You need to, it's like, I want to be a school teacher, but I've never gone to school.
Well, yeah, and same thing with this. I think even 2 months ago, before I started my podcast, I had no idea how to do it. And within a month, I had 30 guests that I recorded with. I feel totally fine now about recording a podcast, but I wouldn't have that month before. And that's the same thing with anything in life. If you don't see it or you don't try and experience it, obviously, there's no way you can get to that next step.
Exactly. And it's just energetically also says a lot when you put your money into something. It's like, yes, I'm putting value in this. And if you are like, I used to be one of those people who would like try to get as much free content as I could for things. And it's like, you just end up stuck in that surface level. Cause now I see as a content creator, it's like the podcasts and stuff are like the general message. But if you want like that step by step, you're not going to get that on the podcast. You need to work with someone, do a program, something like that to get those gradual defined steps.
Yes, I 100% agree.
Yes. Allison, how about you?
Yeah, so I feel like at some point in everyone's life, you come to this like pinnacle of you're tired or you're ill because of it. Like for me, for example, of just not living your truth and literally refusing the path. And so it's like you don't deserve that. Nobody deserves to not live in their dharma, because we all know what it's like to not be following our dreams, and it's miserable. It's an obstacle at every corner that you see. But then once you start to align yourself, it's like the curtain rises and it's like, oh, well, I it's like there. It's available to you. And I just feel like everybody deserves that. Period. And you just have to have the courage to just take the next step and just do it.
For sure, definitely.
Yeah, I completely agree with both Danielle and Allison. I think my advice would be, if your heart and your soul is telling you and you keep getting attracted to this program, listen to that. Because I think so many times we don't listen to it and we're just like, it's okay, we'll just get some free videos on YouTube or something like that. But with this program, it's so much more than that. You get community and you get support. And I think support is so important. Having support and just having a space where you could really be selfish and just really dig really, really deep into your soul. And this is what this program does. And I would say, if you feel like you're stuck and you feel like you've done as much as you could on your own, it might be time to ask for help, and it might be time to receive that help. So if you feel like you could relate to that, then I open the invitation to you, and I encourage you to follow your heart and your gut and your intuition, and yeah, see the rising, because it's there and you could do it.
Yes, love that so much. And that leads me to my last question for you guys. If you could say one sentence to everyone out there who feels stuck or blocked or unsure about their Dharma, what would it be?
So my one line, because I had to come to terms with this too, is that growth happens the day after you stop struggling. Because it's really about that struggle, that the veil of uncertainty and darkness. Once you finally accept, like, yes, I might be unsure right now, but I'm going to take that next step, there's a little hole of light that comes through. And once you start to embrace it and just say, hey, I'm going to take one step and keep going further, that's when it starts to break open. Normally it's not just like the whole light shines at you, you have to make steps towards it. And I think that what happens is people are in this place of struggle or uncertainty, and they think it'll never go away, or they're not sure how to make it go away or what to do about it. And we get really caught up in our own thought process of overthinking and unsure, and then we go down a Google YouTube hole or whatever it is, and we never find the answer because we never take the time to really sit in it and then have the information that is in this program to really help unearth that.
Beautiful. Yes, such good advice. And I totally know like that YouTube rabbit hole. And it's like you end up wasting a lot of your time.
Yes, 100%.
And it's like, time is money too. Like now going back on it, I'm like, I could have gotten the answers so much faster if I had just hired someone to help me. Like, you don't need to figure everything out on your own. Like, there are people who figured it out who can help you.
Yes, and I think this program, and really anyone that you learn from going forward, they're giving you the cheat sheet. Like, they're giving you the shortcuts, so you don't have to take that long, bumpy road. So think about that when you're going forward with whatever decision, including this one. Which path do you want?
For sure.
So I just recently heard a quote from somebody, and they said, "Stop getting ready to be ready." How amazing is that? I mean,
It's accurate. Yeah.
it is so, to me, that really resonates with me because my mind is very kapha. So I'm very like, oh, it's okay. Let's just hang out here. Let's just wade in the water. But for it's like, stop getting ready to be ready. Like, just do it. Just act, and it'll happen. We're powerful people.
Exactly. I feel like people are waiting for this like perfect moment where it's like, now I got money in the bank and like a month off, and like now it's time that I can work on myself. It's like, no, you're going to get that month off and money in the bank from first working on yourself. That doesn't come first. You have to create that space and create that income. But we don't see that. We see it the opposite. So love that quote.
I would say that this is your dream, this life is your dream, and you're the creator and you're the master artist of this dream. And I would say create your dream however you'd like, because you have all the power and there's nothing that you can't do. If it's something that you truly, truly want and desire, create it, because this life is your dream and it's your canvas. So, paint, create your art, share your gifts, and just live that life you've always wanted to live. Really live that life. Like, don't just say you want to do it, do it.
Totally. Yes. I remember when I like started my spiritual journey and I had that same realization of life being a canvas. And I was like, I want to paint mine like turquoise and bull and gold and this and that. And it's like, why paint someone else's picture? It's like, it's like someone taught us how to like draw like a tree and a house and like a picket fence. And we're all trying to draw that same picture. It's like, draw your own picture, guys. Like, they're there aren't even the same jobs as existed 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Like, there wasn't even Instagram, like, think about how much has changed. And that's why we need to not only get advice from like young people, but just like all talk to each other, because then we get so much inspiration. Like, even what all of you guys are doing inspires me, because it's like, and the younger generation even inspires me so much, because it's like social media is changing so fast and we don't even know what's like really available out there for us. And instead of being overwhelmed by that, we should be super inspired by that. Just think about all of the things that we can make and how many ways we can express ourselves. Like, it is freaking cool.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
really is.
And I think the beautiful part about this too, which I think we all can attest to, especially going into this program, like 10 years ago, there wasn't Instagram, there wasn't Facebook. We all had to learn that. And we kind of have to learn how to go back to ourselves to find that highest self. So with anything that you do going forward, you kind of have to do this process. So better start now than later.
Totally. And, this is just I feel like it's still the beginning wave of online
Mhm.
programs. Like for you guys, it was all of your first online programs. And I only started leading online programs a few years ago. So it's like, I think a lot of people are still a little bit apprehensive and it's like online dating, right? At the
Yeah.
beginning, you're like, I don't want to online date. Like, I want to meet the guy in person. And then we feel like, oh, I want this like guru to show up by my door in person. It's like, okay, there's no like at your YMCA, they don't have doshas and Dharma meetups. Like, I don't know where you're going to find this in person. And we're also spread out. But I think like now what makes it cool is like, we're all in our pajamas, we're all at home, and we're having these elevated conscious thoughts without having to leave our house in the comfort of our own homes. And then we can integrate into our lives. It's not like a retreat where you go on the retreat and you work on yourself, you do all the yoga, you do all the meditation, you come back and you like go back to junk food. It's
Mhm.
like when you're at home and you're doing it online, it's like, okay, how is this showing up in my life today? Instead of retreating, you're going even further inwards.
Yes.
So I'm excited. I can't wait to have people on the program, have you guys lead them, have all of our live Q&As just like this. So for everyone listening, if you enjoyed this vibe, if you loved Lizette, Allison, Danielle, if you want to have similar life changes and experiences as them, you want to be coached by them, want to be coached by me, want to just join the Doshas and Dharma family, guys, the
Yeah.
best fam to be in ever, then come join us May 28th. We're beginning and you better hop on. Namaste.
Bye,
Namaste.
guys.
Namaste.